Wrestling break.
I'm looking for something that's good for me, something to watch with my friends and talk about wrestling. And if that exists, ooh, I think I watch it all the time. I heard two words and everything so clear. Oh boy, was filled to the brim and people started to cheer. Wrestling great, ooh, I just can't get you off my mind. And the more I hear, the more I wanna say it. It brings me everything I ever needed. More and more people saying wrestling great. You know there's more and more people saying wrestling great. More and more people saying wrestling great. You know there's more and more people saying wrestling great. Oh yeah.
I'm going to say that's a chat average of high 5, low 6, 5.9 maybe, something like that. Yeah, I'm considerably lower, I would say. They might have crawled to a 5 because I enjoyed the main event violence a great deal. But I thought this show was just rife with troubles. I feel kind of stupid on the preview show because the ways that I thought that this was going to go were not where it was going to go at all. I don't know why Eddie Kingston would post that Forbidden Door photo of him. Again, this is an expectations battle. RL coming in with a 4.8. I feel that. So let's talk about it. Anybody who is around this channel knows that I love AEW. I actively cheer for them. I enjoy this promotion much. I'm not sure that the Forbidden Door product is more for anybody than it's for me. Like, this is deeply exciting. These are the two feds that I follow the most closely in the modern day. The Versus thing is of enormous appeal. But I thought the show died between the tag match and the world title match. That 3-match run of the tag match 3-way, Swerve versus Okada, and then MJF Hangman, I thought was awful. Like, just bad watching. I don't even know how in depth I feel like going on all these. I guess I'll start with the tag match. Well, yeah, I'm gonna start with the tag match because I feel like it sets the stage for what goes wrong on this show. Okay, so we have the Hurt Syndicate defending their world titles against both FTR and Brodito. And what have we heard all week? That there's this, brewing thing where no single member of the Hurt Syndicate wants to get pinned. They don't think that other teams are worthy, whatever it is. And I actually thought that that was crap, and that the elimination step sort of, not only the Speedball Bailey video that they made, you remember MVP and Speedball made like a haha, we're joking thing backstage. And then seeing that they added an elimination step to it on Wednesday at the end of Dynamite. People who watch the AEW dudes saw that. And I was like, oh, they're answering it. This is so AEW. This is awesome. Elimination step. They have to get, one of them is going to get pinned. Maybe they can protect Bobby Lashley in this, but somebody's going to get pinned in the Hurt Syndicate if they're to drop these titles. They just went in the entire opposite direction. Neither member of the Hurt Syndicate is even present when the tag titles change hands. On top of that, here's my promise. Free Patreon sub or sub to this channel to anyone who can explain the rules to me of this triple threat. In parts, Tornado. In parts, some guys are tagging, sometimes 3 in the ring, sometimes 2 in the ring. It opens with just everyone on the outside. Like, there was lots of cool stuff in the match. There's zero doubt about it. But in terms of any sort of linearity or like blow off or the reasons that I watch AEW, I just didn't find them present in this tag match. There were moments that I really enjoyed. The focus on Brody King always is something that's going to play to my tastes. Him and Cash's sort of unholy alliance was very fun. Him and Bobby Lashley's face off where they go big man versus big man. Shelton Benjamin gets some awesome rub in the middle of this where it's him versus the world and he gets to beat up on everybody. All of this is very, very fun to watch. But it's announced right before the match. They don't even address it. They say, well, they just announce it as a normal match. So you're like, oh, I guess it's not elimination. And then you see Ricochet and GOA run in, and they remove Bobby Lashley. Okay? Why? Like, we're setting up GOA versus the Hurt Syndicate? Or there was no way to figure out what this match was besides, hey, my read anyway, and I'll be curious, anybody in the chat who disagrees, please let me know what your read on this was. But to me, this was confirmation that the Hurt Syndicate don't want to get pinned. Shout out to FTR, willing to do business, permanent pros, willing to take the pin, make these guys look great. But I think foundationally this match didn't work. Like, foundationally, I didn't really know what was going on in this match. This is all way worse than Hangman MJF coming up, by the way. So this is why I started here. But so now if on Wednesday they go immediately to Hurt Syndicate versus Bro Ito, and Bro Ito get to defend against them successfully, okay, no problem. And I'm pro a Brody King push, but if I'm even being honest there, a tag team with Bandito isn't the push for titles that I want for Brody King. I want him singles way up the card, especially if Ospreay and Swerve Strickland are going to be off the show for a while. I don't even know what other single guy you'd be looking to sort of help fill, that star power ready to go spot. So, while again, there were tons of moments that I liked in here, and I didn't want to come in being negative on this match. These are 6 wrestlers that I like watching. Maybe not Bobby Lashley, but 5 wrestlers that I reliably like watching. But as it played out, the confused rule set. Why are you tagging in a match where there's no DQs and no one else is tagging? It's like, okay, revert to tagging. Who would do that? Why? Everyone's in there fighting, and it's like, oh, it's almost the finish. Okay, now 2 guys that start tagging. It's like, why? Why? Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. So the end result, the road bumpy, but a Brodito title reign, I think, can have a lot of fun. I'm excited to see, again, feature on Brody King. I do like the way him and Bandito interact as a tag team in a massive way, but I just thought how you got there it just makes me hate the Hurt Syndicate, and not in some sort of heel way, and you should just fire them way, like legitimately. And anybody who watches the show knows that Zoobs and I, we love to go, we hurt people. We're into the act. But if you're going to force these other teams, remember the we're not, this is the final step, but 2 steps back, it messed things up too. Now your tournaments are ending in draws, and then you're getting into triple threats for title matches, all things that I don't want. And this is all and then you have to do backwards math to get the belts off them. This is all just in service these last 3 weeks of getting the belts off the Hurt Syndicate in what is the least satisfying way that can get the least people over. And I just struggled to connect with that in a massive way. Anyway, what's the chat saying? Short sign saying, you're nuts. I might be. But Ashton Kutcher saying, I think he's right. The match was good, but the finish was fucked. Yeah, I don't know how you get away from that. Qui-Gon Jinn and Juice saying, the champ's running out to chase interference for the final stretch. Oh, I didn't even bring up the botched finish. Yeah, I felt bad for these guys, man. You already have such an awkward ending. And then, it was tough. You have, Cash is supposed to break up the pin that Bandito has on Dax. But he doesn't make the jump. So the ref counts 3, but then they're like, oh no. And then, or no, am I remembering this wrong? You have Cash, he's supposed to break up the pin, and Brody's supposed to stop him, I guess, but then they just do that spot again immediately, and then the pin happens. It's like, I don't know, who was it saying I'm nuts? Like, you got a lot out of this match? Short Shine? Like, this was a hitter for you? Because I thought it was just plagued with issues all over the place, despite lots of cool stuff happening. I thought it was poorly planned, and then at the very end, poorly executed. So again, I love FTR in this current run. I hope this isn't the end of any sort of push for them. I hope they get continued. But then on top of that, I really hope that this is just clean slate and Brodito can be these anchors to the division that we wanted the Hurt Syndicate to be. But obviously, if they're not willing to do anything with it, there's no value to the Federation. Like, what are you going to do with that? So really did not like this tag match. We'll go from here. We'll just go in order from here. Because up next, I'm in hater mode tonight, I guess. Swerve Strickland versus Okada. Now, I said on the preview show, I'm not much of a fan of these guys' first encounter. I thought that the build to this match has been one of the worst builds to an AEW or pay-per-view blow-off in a while. I think the world of both of these guys, generally speaking, but I didn't think that this was especially good. They're both, I don't know if it's because they both are sort of cool, like they're both similarly paced in the ring, so it can sort of develop this lack of intensity. But by the same token, Okada and Naito have unbelievable matches, and certainly you could say that Naito is as cool and chill of a wrestler as you're going to find. But I just thought they never really, that the second gear that you want to come never comes. The pop-up power slam from Swerve is always very cool, and Okada just manages to be light as a feather for guys still, to a degree that it makes sense how he can do such a good drop kick. Like, something about Okada is extremely good at getting vertical, and it was really shown on that pop-up power slam. I loved that. But then it leads to this top rope knee breaker, which goes right into the end of the match. And the knee breaker looks bad, and then Swerve's been basically spamming house calls the whole match. One of them really... And then finally, I was like, oh, this is the story. He keeps missing with them, and then he finally times one on Okada, and it looks great. And then he immediately misses the next one, and is blasted with a Rainmaker. And I was just like, I don't get what we're doing. I just don't. I had a hard time. Again, I'm not normal. Like, I like Dynamite more this week. I'm a fan, but I really thought that this was... You wonder what the discussion backstage was about what this match should be. Besides a setup for what happens in the post-match, which is going to lead to our first keeper kick of the evening, which I'll get to in a second here. But I don't know, man. I just thought that they settled into this groove, and neither of them were interested in getting out of it. If Swerve's meniscus is busted, I totally get it, but then why are you putting him versus Okada on Forbidden Door? Like, I know Okada's not in New Japan, but a singles Okada match on Forbidden Door feels like more evocative of the spirit of, especially against somebody like Swerve Strickland, than a lot of the matches on this card, and they could have used it. So, didn't especially like this match. Curious if anybody in the chat was big into it. And then post-match, Okada continues to beat down poor Swerve Strickland. They're going to write him off. He tucks him into the turnbuckle. He's wailing on him with a chair, hitting the hurt knee. And then, in for the save, I thought this was fun, Prince Nana runs in with a lead pipe, and this gets... Okada isn't really scared of Prince Nana, which I like. Like, Okada did a good booking protection here, where he's going, oh, you know, he's like, sort of like, okay, man, you go ahead. I'm done anyway. Like, go right ahead. But it is enough to get him to back off. But then, as Swerve Strickland lays in the corner, and Nana stands over protecting him, we understand why Okada was able to be so nonchalant. Here he comes, everybody. It's Mr. Wardlow. Guys, ow. Oh, sorry, the cheers were deafening in my ears there for a sec. Had to take my headphones out. The Callis family has a new member. It's Mr. Wardlow, who decides to only attack Prince Nana here. Just beats up Prince Nana a bunch and leaves Swerve there. So, I guess you're not setting up, like, Swerve's going to be written off, so you're probably, I get why you maybe wouldn't set that up, but it just seemed weird to me. It's like, only going to attack the Prince. But Nana was great. Nana was, as always, I thought Nana was almost the best part about anything in this 15-minute block on pay-per-view. And so, in that way, good for Prince Nana. Mr. Wardlow, I've been very clear. I don't think he has the genuine stuff that matches his body. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever comparison you would draw between Wardlow and Scott Steiner or Rhino or Goldberg or the Hulks of yesteryear, he has none of that intensity. It's just a total mismatch for me. But I'm willing to do it because Takeshita, I want out of the Don Callis family so badly, and that, I think, we've been predicting that on AEW Dudes for a while, and I think that it's definitely going to happen given the post-match here, where it's Okada who comes out and sort of stares down everybody in the family. But if this is just another number, I guess Don Callis wants to build the biggest faction ever. It makes me wonder if Trent Beretta is hurt again or something. But I don't know. Well, here, we'll just do it. We'll get to the first keep it or kick it of the evening. Here we go. Keep it or kick it. This statement, very simple, folks. And you know the deal. Go down to your emotes bar. If you like it, select keep. If you dislike it, select kick. Let me know. This statement, a push for Wardlow. Keep it or kick it. 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 Keep it, kick it, keep it, kick it, keep it, kick it, keep it, keep it, kick it, keep it, kick it, keep it, keep it, kick it, keep it, kick it, keep it, keep it, kick it, keep it. Oh my God, the chat's doing taekwondo. The chat is practicing only one part of karate because Ashton Kutcher, my big brother the Zoobs, Qui-Gon Jinn and Juice Geek 1717, Pacefall, Kevcell, Brick Mittens, Al B19, Gandalf Lundgren, E Prime are all kicking a push for Wardlow. Not a single keep for the big man. I guess the good news for us is that nothing about this re-debut tells us he's going to be some giant player. I think he's probably just going to be enforcer for Okada. And in that role, he can probably be okay. But yeah, I largely share the chat here. If anything outside of enforcer for Okada, who loses the match, those Dutches were really funny, is just uninteresting to me. Unless he has completely reimagined himself. And like my brother Mr. Ferguson says, he's decided to play fucked. If he wants to go hard and he's watched some tapes of old heads that are just bashing guys and get a little reckless, okay, no problem. But if he's the guy that left, except he was just gone because he was doing American Gladiators, my interest is pretty low. Oh, I guess I was wrong. This run of matches wasn't bad because I enjoyed this next one a very decent amount. Athena versus Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship. You know what? I'm going to do the MJF and Hanger match and then the main event. And then we'll come back to Athena and Toni because it deserves some actual praise. And I'm just going to dump on the stuff I didn't like, get that all away, and then talk about the stuff on the show that I did enjoy. My score was a 5. There was plenty on this that I didn't like. E Prime asking, does he get more into matches than Trent? You have to think so, right? And when framed like that, that actually is a bummer for me. Yeah, I agree. That's good framing. Keek17 saying he's going to end up across from Max at some point. My groan will be audible from space. Talking about Wardlow, yeah. In some ways, repairing with MJF seems like inevitable for him, right? Like they're doing that at some point, it seems. But also very interesting as you think about the Alex Hammerstone rumors these last couple weeks and now Wardlow returns. Like, was that to get Wardlow to take less money? Who knows? Okay. Let's move on. But in brief, I thought Athena and Toni was one of the matches of the night. And Athena is maybe the most physical wrestler in that division. Amanada and Chris Statlander deserve some honorable mentions, but I thought Athena went off tonight. Okay. Maxwell, Jacob, Friedman versus Hangman Page. MJF is out in Masawa colors, which I actually thought was hilarious. Of all wrestlers to wear the green and white, I think MJF is probably, in some ways, the best one that can wear it. Like, very, very good. And I want everybody to remember, because this is important for this match. Well, or you'd think it'd be important. I mean, it turned out to be not very important. That MJF needed 3 things for this match, and to accept it. That he doesn't need to use his contract to do it. So goody, folks, we still can get this again. Phew. That DQs, the title can change hands on DQs. Don't you forget that, you silly geese. I can't even remember what the third one was. That's how important all 3 were to remember. Maybe the chat remembers. I thought this was junk from Jump Street. Holy hell, man. What was this? This was... I'm being serious. Can anyone think of a more overthought match? For as much as I was complaining that other things in AEW sometimes are underthought or no detail or it feels like nobody's paying attention, this is the exact opposite. Someone was like, what if everything? What if we just, we threw it all at the damn wall? But this, I thought, was horrible from go. Almost immediately in the match, MJF introduces a table, which commentary and me go, well, why would he do that? Is he going to put himself through it? Like, what's the plan here if it can change on a DQ? Nope. Going through tables is not a DQ. There were people in my Discord very quick to tell me, for the last 6 years of AEW, no one's been DQ'd in a tables match. That simply does not matter, even remotely to me. Not even an iota. If you are doing a match where they say, hey, the heel goes out of his way to say DQ, that will allow the title to change. So you think, he's going to goad Hangman into using a weapon. Like, this is the onus of this stip. That is what is being put on the table when he does this. Pun not intended there. But the babyface puts him through a table, which is, my mic is hot? Hang on a sec. Now I'm hearing that the audio's terrible. Cadenza, is that true? Chat, tell me. You can just say it out here. We're not going to do this whole thing bad. This got to be a podcast. Yeah, they're saying the mic is hot. Too loud? KevCell says mic is fine. No, I'm good. What are you DMing me? Okay. Back to it. I'm great. You're great, Ashton Kutcher. Okay, so the dead eye through the table. Maybe you had a problem with that. Maybe you didn't. I think we can probably. This is horrible for me. But even if you didn't have a problem with it, I can imagine the rest of this. You could say, oh well, this is at least consistent with where they were going. Into the broken table, MJF hits a tombstone, which was actually pretty sick because the half the table that was already broken didn't break. And then they do the roll up ball spot. Didn't like that. One. Okay, great. There's a heat seeker. Oh no, sorry. Before we get to the insanely weird. And again, maybe we have some smarter people than me in the chat. I'm just being honest. I don't even know what they were going for in the finish. I have no means to explain it to you. I'm going to explain what I saw. And then you could tell me if you saw something different, but I have no means to, I don't know what they were going for. But before we get to the end, table not a DQ. But you know what a DQ is? Pulling out a diamond ring. MJF drops to his knees and he says, Hangman, hit me with this ring. Now we're getting him. Now we're dead eye through the table. Totally fine, but do not punch this man with that ring. If you do that, the ref is like, hey, Hangman, you know, what? How could this possibly be? How could this possibly be? But luckily, we get, Hangman decides to turn that down, but it leads to a heat seeker from MJF in the ropes. Hangman gets his, this is just what I saw, okay? Someone help me if I got this wrong. The ref counts 3, boom, but Hangman's boot is on the rope. Then the ref walks around, then MJF walks around, and he puts his hands on Hanger's boot to, like, imply he put it there. And then the ref's like, no, that's, and then Mark Briscoe comes out. Mark Briscoe's music hits. Security stops Mark Briscoe from even getting to the ring. So I guess we're getting more Briscoe MJF, which I suppose makes sense. I don't have any problem with that, I suppose. And then Bryce is like accusing MJF of something. But to me, this read as him like accusing MJF of putting Hangman's foot on the rope. Am I wrong about this? Chad, help me out, because I didn't. Oh, so the ref sees MJF is trying to remove the boot, but he'd already not counted the 3. Because that is the initial takeaway. But he already went 1, 2, 3. Boots on the rope. No, match isn't over. So why would he then be like, oh, but you can't take his boot off? It just, I don't know. Yeah, the chat saying they don't know either. Yeah, okay. Glad that I'm not just a big dummy. But then we do get the big Hangman Page comeback. He blasts MJF, who has the contract out. So he hits, which is a cool visual. Contract goes flying and Pages go off of it. It's a firm buckshot lariat, and he hits him with the 1, 2, 3. Hangman Page is still your world heavyweight champion. Yeah, I really thought this was bad at every from again, just conceptually. Like, and I hate sounding like this is what haters think AEW is. Like when they're saying like outlaw mud show, is anyone even looking at this? This is what they mean. They don't. They're not in good faith. They don't actually mean it in this way. But this is where it could be applied, where it's like, folks, someone go talk to an agent. Get a third person in here, because you guys were you took it way too far, and it ultimately wasn't anything. Can you imagine MJF still having that contract and using it on Hangman Page? Who is eager to see this at all? Not me. It is worth noting the crowd was very hot for the Hanger win, so maybe I'm on an island here. But it wasn't for me. I don't even have that much to say about it. I can't think of a wrestling match I didn't understand before. It is the only match I can think of ever where I'm like, what happened? What was going on? So really, I thought this didn't do any rescuing, didn't set the stage very nicely for the main event. Matty Mac saying he feels bad for Hanger here. It just makes no sense at all. Yeah, and tough to blame Hangman Page, who's been on a career level run in singles anyway. and is just on a run of great matches. Hard to blame him here. We know MJF can get a little, in whatever you say, has too much control, enjoys sort of, I don't always mind a sort of WWE tropiness, but this was much closer to the Jay White match than it was, a straightforward Hangman Page defense. Astral Beer saying, this stipulation sucked, especially since they did a good straightforward match earlier this year. Yeah, I like that match. But I don't even think you guys can hear this, can you? Because of Goldberg. I'm gonna guess that you guys can't even hear the sound alerts. Thank you for popping me. I feel like Dave LaGreca. I'm on my Dave LaGreca shit. Oh, man. Anyway, doesn't sound like anybody else has a better read on this match than me. Because of Goldberg, you said it perfect, Cadenza. Main event time, and I was ready for the violence to wash the bad booking away. But I'm just going to tell you, I thought the ending of this pay-per-view was worse than the exploding barbed wire death match. Because at least you had Eddie Kingston there trying to make it make some sense and add some gravity and get the angle across. You made 6 babyfaces look so stupid tonight. Just idiots. All stopped. Okay, let's talk about the match first. Entrances. Darby Allin. The Ace of the Universe Hiroshi Tanahashi. Kota Ibushi. Kenny Omega. And Will Ospreay enter in that order. Will Ospreay gets a full lights out package of his career up to the moment. There's somebody in the Discord said, sorry, if you're in here, let me know, that there was like a let's do this for you, Will, feeling among the baby faces. They all hug him when he's there. He looks very emotional. All the baby faces coming out. I thought that was just awesome. Like, they felt like a team against the world, and they knew this was probably going to be Will's last match, and they're in London. So I thought the stage was awesome. Shout out to Floob. That was him. And I totally agree. No other way to say it. That was the vibe. And then out come the heels. I think the Young Bucks have been on fire in this post-EVP gimmick. They get the sting of them arriving and then no music. And then like 20 seconds into their walkout, Hanson Brothers Mbop starts playing. This was not only hilarious on its own account, because it's really great on so many ways that I could enjoy. We were trying to decide on this moment, because it's like, it'll pop the crowd, which maybe you don't want for heels, but it's so not a fight song that it also feels like something somebody in the truck could do to fuck with them. So walking that tightrope, I thought it was awesome. And then it cuts to the ring, and Kenny Omega's like singing along and dancing. In my soul, I believe Kenny Omega loves this song. There's no lie there. Kenny Omega listens to this song and loves it. And how nice is it to have Kenny, by the way? Oh my God, he was a wonderkind in this match. So the Young Bucks are to Mbop. Then I thought one of the coolest Death Riders entrances, and quite the oeuvre, if I may say. I love when the Death Riders walk out. John Moxley, Wheeler, and Marina start walking. And then maybe somebody who knows arenas would have a better sense of this, but they have like rafters to the side. I suppose they cut off a portion of the bleachers for the walkway, and then the rest of the riders are in what would be the covered bleachers. Do I have this right? And out come to join the Death Riders one at a time. Big pop for Gabe Kidd, who's doing the Bryan Danielson Animal Walk. Is this teasing that they're going to do a match eventually? Yes, please. And then Claudio walks out. He looks like a giant because he's in front of the camera. They have Gabe enter level with them, and then Claudio enters like last and just looks like Goliath on the team. Really awesome. And to capture everything that was in this match would be truly impossible, but luckily I have 4 pages of notes on it, so I can do my best. But I mostly want to talk about the pairings and where we can go from here. We'll obviously maybe start just by talking about Darby Allin and his willingness to be the biggest shit-eating wild man there's ever been. I can tell you with 100% confidence there has never been and never will be another Darby Allin before or again. His relentless ability to push himself. It's not just that he does these dangerous moves that we're not used to seeing people doing. It's his lack of hesitation on any of them. I praise Ogawa and Noah all the time because he does this. It's a very simple moveset. And then there's a Phoenix Splash where there's no, you know how, you go to let's say you go to the Performance Center and they say, okay, before you do your big move, you stand on the top rope, you put your thumbs up, you go, oh, hey, oh, and then you hit it, boom, you hit him with the Phoenix Splash, Freaky Seth. Ogawa's the exact opposite. He just, whoa, 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 he runs up, and it's how you'd have to do that stuff, just in the blink of an eye. And I thought that this had that identical energy in just the best way possible. Gabe Kidd, or Darby Allin, has that spirit, I should say, in general. Like, he's there, and then he's there. There's no hesitation, no soaking. Boom, boom, boom. It's crazy, man. Never seen anything like it. You're damn right. So Darby Allin, his ear gets mutilated by Jon Moxley with a fork. He goes on to bump like crazy for the rest of the match. He gets taped to a chair, which Claudio then just dumps. How can you even... He must trust Claudio implicitly. I'm just realizing this, because he did the no-hands airplane spin in the body bag. What was that, 3 weeks ago? They're great opponents. We know that. But that is a level of trust. I mean, if you're going to trust somebody to be strong and in control, Claudio is literally probably the best you could hope for. But those guys must just love each other and find sort of a, not kindred spirits, but it's like, I can do this to you, you can do this to me. Sort of respect is what I imagine going on there. The top of the match is Will Ospreay versus Gabe Kidd. The war for London. They're getting the exact reactions you'd want, even though Gabe Kidd is from London, or from England. I think in Nottingham, if I'm not mistaken, which I think is extraordinarily cool. But then, after a big Will Ospreay fire up, Gabe Kidd hits Will Ospreay with a pile driver, his signature finisher, and this takes Will Ospreay out of the match until a key moment later. I legitimately think Will is out of this match for like probably 7-8 minutes. It's crazy. From there, huge stare off. I need this in Toronto. I'm going to be at All Out Toronto. For the love of God, give me the full match again. The Golden Lovers versus the Young Bucks. They didn't give you a ton in this match. They do a big square off and then they engage, but it certainly wasn't, you couldn't even say it was like a taste. You couldn't. You'd have to say, I'm thirsty. Give me more. And I really hope we get that in Toronto. I think we will. From there, the Young Bucks, was teased on the pre-show that they were going to bring out a very useless weapon. It turns out it was gummy bears. Chat, are you gummy bears people? I love gummy bears. The Haribo Golden Bears. That used to be a go-to movie snack for me. Those little packaged like yay big. I can eat that in 2 goes. That's a shoot. From there, that's where you get into the Mox and Darby insane spot. I legitimately thought Darby was at risk of losing his ear because he'd taken a spot on the outside where it looked bad, then rips him back in, and then Mox goes to work on it. Really skin crawling. You know, there's these great moments you can walk in wrestling. I say this with the Nick Gage pizza cutter thing, where it's like, oh, it's the most deathmatch thing ever. It's like, well, it actually doesn't make people bleed very much. It's more for the thing, and I really felt like the fork in the ear, well, more aggressive than Nick Gage does the pizza cutter to guys he respects, is still incredible visual and had every bit of that hey feeling, which I crave in wrestling sometimes. So great, big shout out to both those guys. And then, with the baby faces taken out, Darby laid a strewn, Ospreay crushed. It's time for the chat to go Ace, who goes nuts. The Ace takes out every single one of the heels with a bunch of his signature moves, and then he goes to climb the ladder to tease that he's going to go to the top of the cage and hit a high fly flow, a spot I think that me and many people were expecting. And then the other babyface is like, no, Ace, don't do that. No, don't do it, Ace. Don't go up there, brother. Which is really, really fun. From there, a BTE trigger is hit on Tanahashi, who puts, right before that, Tanahashi's putting Mox face first into barbed wire, but then they write off Tanahashi for a bit, and the spotlight goes to Kenny Omega, who is outstanding here, blasts them, but then it's Will Ospreay who wakes up to come in for a save, and now Ospreay and Kenny are your tag team left standing, and man, this is a dream. Commentary was like, you never really thought you'd see Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay working in tandem like this. And I'm like, you really didn't. That is true. And no surprise, it fucking rules. There are so many awesome names for that tag finisher they do. I saw Hidden Angel, quite good. The Angel Blade, I don't mind. But where Kenny has him up for the One-Winged Angel, Will Ospreay climbs the turnbuckle, hits the Hidden Blade on the way down. That's something beyond a super finisher. Do we have a word? We have a word for that? But it is broken up, of course, not kicked out from. Now Will Ospreay goes to the top of the cage. He hits the moonsault from the top to the floor. I was actually expecting Ace to do that because Will Ospreay's getting written off, but I thought he looked just unbelievable. And then Darby Allin, I barely mentioned Wheeler Yuta here, but Darby Allin gets one in on him. He kills him on the outside, attacking with kendo sticks, then lays him out on the apron. And then Jon Moxley starts stacking 4 tables 2 by 2, almost like a building of tables. Does that make sense? 2 tables with 2 tables stacked on top of it. Darby Allin manages to fight him and stack him in between that like a sandwich. That he runs into the cage because he wants to coffin drop and, ostensibly murder Jon Moxley in this table sandwich setup. And then Mox gets dragged out by Marina Shafir. This is her use, right? She's so good at this. And the camera work was on point too. I thought Mox was going to take this. No such luck. Gabe Kidd chases Darby up to the top. And I was like, these monsters are legitimately considering a pile driver here. I don't know why I thought that. They didn't even go for it. There was no position. I was like, they're going to do it. Instead, they did something maybe not equally, but just horrendous where they both go, and God bless them, not in the Jinder Mahal 1, 2, 3, hey way. They are struggling and they both go down. Both of them just taken on the shoulder through 4 chairs, and commentary rightly calls out, I think that's the last of either of those guys we're going to see in this match. Back in the ring, there's that Hidden Blade and One Winged Angel sets up for the Ace to plant Matt Jackson with a high fly flow. 1, 2, 3. The good guys win. Awesome. I thought this was, it teased so much stuff. I didn't even talk about the Gabe Kidd and Tanahashi moments that I really enjoyed. The fire-ups from the Ace were all incredibly emotional, and you felt like this is the most dangerous thing we're going to see him do, partially in his career, but certainly before he retires. I think somebody told me this is only his 2nd cage match in his career, so incredible to see him in this environment. Gabe Kidd getting the reactions you'd want. However, as the babyfaces celebrate, they go and the Death Riders throw them out of the cage, all but Will Ospreay, and lock the cage. Okay. This is no longer, we just saw guys climb. Keep in mind, Darby Allin was just climbed the cage, not very recently, minutes ago. The babyfaces are on the outside as the Death Riders surround Will Ospreay. They go for the concerto spot, almost a signature AEW move now at this point. And I don't even know how to explain this. So the babyfaces aren't going in, and then security stops, like, no, don't go in there. This is already a massive problem. Why would security say, don't go save that guy who's being beaten down 5-on-1? Why? Okay, let's assume that the Death Riders paid off the security. Okay, let's say that's on Wednesday. They're going to say, we did the right thing. We paid off the security. Look, it was actually these guys, and we paid them. It still doesn't make sense, because there's no way, even after a cage match, security guards, who Wardlow just fought off 5 of a minute ago, could stop Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kenny Omega, Darby Allin from getting into that ring. Why would they, and then how could they? It makes no sense. Actually, because you're saying Marina climbed the cage. Her side must have been easier. Yeah, that's right. So they kill Will Ospreay while the babyface is there. I'm not even joking. This is a real thing. Go watch this, because it wasn't centered on the camera. The Ops run out, and I'm like, okay, Samoa Joe and Will Ospreay are going to break down the door or something. I guess that could be kind of a cool moment. Nope. They too are also going to be stopped by security as Powerhouse Hobbs is halfway up the cage and a security guard's like, no, get down from there, and that's enough. What? Why? What? Who thought this was good? Do these guys feel like winners to anyone? Feel like the worst friends on earth to me? I thought this was booking wise unforgivable. All this talk of Jon Moxley looking to make baby faces who mean it and are a team and are unified and are unselfish, and this is the message. Oh no, they're the exact same. Security is enough. The Powerhouse Hobbs couldn't just grab 2 security guards and clap them together like cymbals. That couldn't happen. Yeah, so Samoa Joe couldn't just pick up one of them, fold them up like a ball, and throw them into the nearest basket. That couldn't happen. They should have gotten Wardlow. They needed Mr. Wardlow. I think that's what we're learning. If Mr. Wardlow was there, they could have gone through it. Matty Mac saying some capital C clunky stuff on the show. I agree, man. Avoidable stuff. You want to get to Will Ospreay being written off. Anyone in the chat could think of a way to do that in a great way right now. I guarantee it. We have a smart audience. Not even a good way, a better way than what if the babyfaces watched while they did it and security guards stopped them. I cannot understand this. And I was ready to give this show a high score because I really liked the cage match that was before it. I thought it was awesome. Even if we didn't get I was hoping for Eddie, but whatever. That's on me for expecting it after he posted a photo on Instagram of him and the Forbidden Door logo. But that's fine. I would have been complete. I would have given this match full marks, top marks even, ding, if we would have gotten it as is minus the post match. But I don't know what on earth was the thinking here. I don't even have much else to say about it. I guess it's just the strongest security ever, and Mr. Wardlow should be the hottest free agent in AEW. Insanity. Darby Allin should be able to climb any cage. I've seen this guy do anything. So that was the main event, man. It left a very bad taste in my mouth. I didn't. And my problem isn't really with the performances on the show. It's the booking. Like, that is my chief issue with so many things on the show, is that no one seemed to be paying attention to certain things. We don't even know the rules to some of the matches. So, I don't know. And I hate being the negative guy. I don't have fun doing that. Well, I like doing the show always, but I like to like AEW. You ever been mad at a friend? You ever had that? I remember my friend Jesse Gisborne and I, we once had an argument, and he looked at me, he's like, I don't want to be arguing with you. And I was like, God, that's so real. I didn't want to be arguing with him either. All right. Second keep it or kick it of the night. Because, well, first of all, I want to take a drink, and I was going to go off air with this because I didn't think that this was going to... Anyway, we're going to get to lots of matches still. Lots of show to go. Second keep it or kick it. Here we go. Keep it or kick it. This statement. Jon Moxley is going to beat Darby Allin in their next singles match. Keep it or kick it. Chats on Darby. Okay. Phew. Because they've been handing out Mox losses. they've been neutering the riders. But I probably agree. Pacefall, Kevsell, Cadenza, Keegs, McCamps, E Prime, Qui-Gon Jinn, Juice, Matty Mac, and I Am Ahab. All kicking Ashton Kutcher, the lone keep out there. Crappy stuff here, folks. Didn't like it. The kicks are kicking me in the face. I feel like the audio issues were. All right. Let's get to some of the good stuff on this card. I just asked you a question, but I wanted to ask another question. Can we do 2 back-to-back? No one's going to stop me. Chat. Well, here, I'll try and line up my face with Dutch. Chat, what was your match of the night on the show tonight? That's what I need to know. Because I thought that this show was off to a great start. I thought there was lots to like on this show. I guess you could say the cage match is match of the night, right? Because the post-match doesn't count. Cadenza saying the TBS match. Yeah, I feel that. Wow, everyone on the women's 4-way. Ashton Kutcher, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Juice. Keek 1717. Really, eh? Athena, Tony for Fruits Are Edible. Wow. Okay, cool. RL's on the cage match. Kevsell on the women's 4-way. Holy hell. Wow. I love it. It wasn't I liked the Athena Tony match better. But neither are my match of the night. All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the women's I Am Ahab with Nigel, ZSJ. Yeah. Pacefall saying the patriarchy and Edge and Christian. I get it. I had a blast on that. I am actually really looking forward to talking about that one. Let's talk about World Women's Title time. Athena versus Toni Storm. There is no one, and I mean this, I watch a lot of wrestling. I watch a lot of different federations. There's no one putting more effort into their character than Toni Storm. And maybe it doesn't hit for you, and I could understand that. But I think anyone could recognize the effort put into the character and the thought of who she is when she fights and who she is when she talks and who she is with her versus her versus her. It's so high end, and it's so, you know, it makes you feel like there's some damn justice in the world that she got so over, because it's a weird act, right? It's a weird act, and she's one of the biggest stars, and England was thrilled to see her. She's out here. Now it's gonna. My note makes it sound insulting. I see she's dressed like an old English clown. Is that right? I don't even know if that's right. Is that right? She has like the powdered face, and she's in like a thing, you know, that clowns wear. I don't know. What do you call that thing? I don't know. Clown gear. What would you all say she's dressed as? I'm not sure. But the effort just isn't lost on me, man. Everything is so dialed in. And here tonight, I feel like I'm aware of how good Athena is. But then tonight I was like, maybe I don't know how good Athena is, because I thought she was just a rocket in this match. And I've thought that about Athena before. Maybe it's the Tony pairing. Maybe I'm not giving enough credit to Tony in this situation. But my God, Athena is, when she calls herself the American Joshi, I guess it's almost just the most apt way to describe her. She's the hardest wrestler and the most physical wrestler. Queen Aminata has like a rawness in her physicality that makes her stand out when I'm saying this, but I still think I feel comfortable in saying as full package, Athena is the most physical American Joshi that she has. I just thought that Toni Storm and her were magic together. I really think you can return to this once Athena's on the main roster, which I don't think is going to be long. I think they're going to put the title on Billie Stark's, probably December, and then she'll be up for the new year, because, man, I thought this was I'll use a little English lingo. I thought this was a class performance from Athena, stepping up to be like, nope, I can just go with the world champ. And neither are carrying, obviously, but there are points where Toni is doing stand there while Athena bombs on you. I don't mean bombs just in striking. I mean plants you with the O-face, or hits that spinning thing, blasts you with that. Like, everything is full force in a way that is just, it's almost I've heard, who was this? This isn't a shoot interview. I forget. I'm totally blanking. It might have been Jim Cornette, but it was a really good point where it's like, it's actually a good tip to tell younger wrestlers, you can't be hurting people, but it's like physicality and aggressiveness can actually cover for a lot. I actually think this is probably how Queen Aminata skates by in some ways, or not skates by, but has us all with such high opinion of her. Because if you're just constantly closing the distance and on the attack, even if some stuff, because there was the O-face into the ropes that I thought was a little meh, and there's one other thing that I didn't get a chance to write down. I was like, okay, not the best, but it just doesn't matter, because in the actual fight, things don't look perfect, and these two are, or certainly the energy Athena is bringing is that it's so aggressive that it can cover for anything like that. It keeps you in the match. And I just thought it was brilliant, and I thought that they were awesome together. I'd really like to see it again, even though it wasn't like one of these where they left a ton on the table. They dumped the moveset out, but I had such a blast watching this match, a true styles clash in a way that I thought they were able to expound on in the ring and bring the best out of each other, and not in a very traditional heel face dynamic. Although there is, the Billy distraction, and then Mina Shirakawa has to come out for the save, so there's a little of, remember Athena's a heel, but it's pretty straight ahead ass kicking, and I just thought it was fantastic. This is where Ryan would be so useful. I need the clip right now of whatever the transition Athena did to that Koji clutch was. What was that? I don't know. I grappled for a decade. I have no idea what that was. And it looked awesome. She performed it flawlessly, and I've never seen it before, and she had to transition to a move that linked sick from it. What more do you want? You watch this much wrestling and somebody can still make you go, what the hell? What was that stinking thing? And then the Koji clutch that she gets to from it also looks outstanding. But ultimately, she does fall victim to the Toni Storm crossface. Love that she's getting this over again. Totally in step with her character. Shout out to Bob Backlund. And just fantastic stuff seeing these two engage. The crowd really came up for Mina Shirakawa, by the way. If she is all healed up, I only learned she was injured recently today. So if she is all healed up, that's somebody got to get on TV, because the crowd was, they did want Mina, as she herself so often likes to say. So Massive shout out to these two. This was my second best match of the night. I ultimately still do give it to the cage match because I gave it to the exploding barbed wire death match. I feel like I got to be consistent here. It's only the post match that I dislike, but this was right behind that for me. And then Nigel's ZSJ. That'd be my top three. But I thought these two, and again, Athena just put on, and I think the world of Toni Storm, but I thought Athena was just outstanding here. I don't know what else to say. I thought she was just bombing around in a way that I wish more wrestlers would. Big shout out to Athena. Going down the card. Talked about that tag. I hated it. Oh, let's talk about this segment that leads it. I thought this is great. Tekla and Amanada were in a multi-woman match on the pre-show, and then hours later, they're seen brawling backstage, and then they brawl to the live audience who loves this. This I don't care about sloppy booking or, this doesn't make any sense for timing. I'm willing to do pro wrestling cover for that. I thought that this was very fun. The crowd loved when they brawled out there. Then Sky Blue, and Julia Hart run out, the other two triangle of madnesses, and they go and they grab poor Queen Amanada. She needs help. And I got to say, the Tekla Amanada feud paying dividends, right? And out comes Jamie Hayter. Second time she's returned in London. Just a pretty big reaction here. Jamie Hayter's in the prove it zone for me. I'm going to need to see a bunch of her being good before I'm willing to say, okay, hell yeah, let's give her the push. But I know the Wrestling Brain listenership on whole, I think, was always a little more pro Jamie Hayter than maybe Zoobs or I. So we'll see where she can go, though. And the reaction was certainly there for it. And yeah, teaming up with Queen Amanada to take on the Madness Triangle, I think, is a fun thing. Okay, let's talk about the other women's four-way, which the chat really liked. I thought this one had high points and low points. Of course, the match, it's so funny because you can have the Bazilla Brody King comparisons already, but then the booking was so how AEW books Brody King, where this match is the Make Bozilla Look Good show for a large part of it. I love this story being told. It actually reminds me, I feel like I brought this match up a lot this week because I thought it was going to play out in the triple threat elimination. That's why I thought this. The triple threat elimination match between DIY, AOP, and the Revival FTR back in OXT, Black and Gold. And they told a very similar story here, except with an extra person, and not an extra person, extra team, so to speak. This is 4 singles teams versus a triple threat of 2. But this is all to say, Winza and Persephone realized that they're like, okay, this Bozilla is Godzilla. We need to do a little team up. We'll go at each other when the action's slow. When we can take her out, we'll go at each other. We're not a team, but if we're smart, we're going to work together to take on this machine, this German machine. But our world champion, TBS title holder Mercedes Moné, Mercedes 9 belts, who I just love, who was outstanding in this match, by the way. She's too egotistical for something like that. So the other two will attack Bozilla in a team, but Mercedes attacks her as singles, although it never gets the better of her. And it's so awesome. Like, it's such clear character understanding where it's like, no, what, you think the CEO needs Persephone's help? Whereas but she's a victim of her hubris, getting slammed all over the place with brilliant sells all over the place by Mercedes. And the Bozilla is selling, and there's a Poison Rana attempt later that looked really bad, I thought. But on offense, she's a complete product. She looks awesome. And especially with Mercedes, who's one of the best sellers on the planet Earth. And Mercedes, who's so giving, just the person holding 9 belts, and for some reason people are like, oh, Mercedes, she never loses, she's so selfish. You're an idiot if you think that. She goes out there and gets killed every match. I dare you to find me a prime Stone Cold Steve Austin or Goldberg or whoever you think of as like a arrogant wrestler, protect me wrestler, do anything resembling what Mercedes does in her defense. I dare you to find me a clip of anything resembling it. She goes out there and she lets Bozilla just kill her again because it's not David versus Goliath. It's how David versus Goliath would go in real life. But she never learns the lesson. The hubris continually gets the better of her. But it is Persephone and Winza who are able to do the hard work and the heavy lifting to take down this monster. Eventually, you see them attack her. And it's this Brody King booking where she can only really be taken down by people working in tandem. Persephone hits what commentary calls a Japanese arm drag. Does anybody know? That looked so good, man. I said on the preview show, I'll say again, I'm deeply unfamiliar with Persephone. I don't think I've ever seen her outside of her appearances in AEW or when she might have wrestled somebody once in CMLL that I watched. Did she wrestle like Willow or something? But I'm deeply unfamiliar with her, but I thought she had a great showing here. The running crucifix bomb on Bazilla gets the crowd so up. Where it's like, oh, she can do this too. Boom. Huge landing. I thought she looked just tremendous in the moments they do. But then again, I loop right back around to how, she was on the Wrestle Dynasty show, Kev Sell? That must have been it. Thanks, brother. Count on the historian. But then Mercedes, who is just so talented. I'm not trying to take credit away from anybody else in this match, but it's just so clear that whenever Mercedes is involved, everything's going so butter. Bazilla gets her up, and Mercedes just hits this insane reversal to a roll-up, but finishes, it's we all know what a roll-up looks like, but she finishes in this angle where it's way more believable. Like she has, fruits are edible. Are you there? Explain to me in science. The fulcrum, the angle's higher, like she's way higher angle in a way that you normally exit reversal in like more of a 50-50 position, but she exits the reversal like going too far. She overjumps and ends in like a steep pin position and is able to sneak one in over Persephone. During that, I should say, they do give Wins a massive Tower of Doom spot that the crowd just loves, and they do the chant they love to do in England for Alex Windsor. The na 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 na. They love that. My problems with this match, as much as I loved some of it, the double submission spots, I thought neither of them worked, and I can't really think of too many times it's ever worked in a wrestling match for me, so that might be that. And I did think that some of the times when it was Bozilla and one person could be a little bit maybe greener, and some of her, that part of her showed a little more, but I thought it was electric when it was good, and I had a lot of fun watching it. That arm drag has hit a ton in the AKI N64 games. Is that right, RL? Maybe that's why it was so pleasing to my latent brain. That could have been it. Shout out to the Japanese arm drag. And shout out to Persephone. And all four of them in this match. This was a lot of fun. This one was crazy, man. I'm going to talk about this one first. Then I'll go to the IWGP World Title. Kyle Fletcher and Hiromu Takahashi. Okay, let's say this. Hiromu, I'm going to look at the camera because I know you're watching and speak English. Come to AEW. They're never going to do anything with you as a junior in Japan. There's a million guys I want to see you wrestle on the roster. Come on in, brother. Okay. Does anybody disagree with that? I mean, Time Bomb, it's not that New Japan can't use him, but he's wrestled everyone they're going to let him wrestle. He's held the junior title. I think he's a 400-time junior champion. And he's in there with Kyle Fletcher. And I know he's probably not in prime anymore. And there is maybe sometimes the New Japan guys come over and they're in casual mode to some degree, some more than others. But if he's willing to work as hard as he did tonight against Kyle Fletcher, I want him here, dude. He takes from Kyle Fletcher a Michinoku driver that Don Callis, who's back on commentary and back here with Kyle Fletcher, good to see him, calls a Protostar driver. Hilarious. Maybe the most famous last name move in all of wrestling. Vader bomb up there, I suppose. No, that's a Protostar driver. I love it. But, okay, Hiromu takes a Liger bomb, a Michinoku driver, a half and half squarely on the top of the dome, and then he does the insane guy Hulk up where he's just like, blah! Starts screaming and making an insane face, and the crowd is so up for it, and Kyle Fletcher is trying to hurt him. You're going to try and hurt Hiromu by hitting him in the head? It's never going to work, dude. He hits the Time Bomb 1, which is the move that he does the kick out version of, but the crowd still gets very up for it. That's a great, it's like the running Destino versus standing Destino, where one pins, one doesn't. The Time Bomb versus the Time Bomb 2.0. I like that in Hiromu's layout. But I thought that the match was just... Can somebody mind looking up the match time on this one for me, chat? Does somebody mind telling me? Because these guys fit a whole lot of live in. It wasn't a super long match. I mean, it's 9 to 11 minutes, something like that. And these guys... The story was that Kyle Fletcher can't take him out without a jumping brainbuster that absolutely, or a jumping tombstone and then a brainbuster. He absolutely crushes him. So cool. I just have a lot of time for this style of wrestling. These guys, I would say, go together exactly how you think they would. Just under 15. Thanks, Fruits. They went together exactly as you'd imagine, but in the best way possible. We need Darby Allin and him, right? That's not just me saying that. It's been a match that people have called for since the onus of Forbidden Door. And if they're willing to live up to the promise of it, like Fletcher and him are, do it. And there's you couldn't name someone I don't want to see Hiromu wrestle on the, well, okay, you could. But most of the names on the AEW roster, I'd be very happy to see Hiromu Takahashi wrestle. So, gimme. Get the graphic, Hiromu. That's right, Flute. Oh, this was fun. See, this show was cooking. I like so much on this show. The IWGP Heavyweight Championship is on the line in sort of a generation versus generation dream match. The two, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd think safe to say these are the two most prominent English wrestlers of their respective generations. Oh, no, I guess Zack Sabre Jr. is outdone by Will Ospreay. So, probably not true. But very important guys colliding in an area that's very hot for them. This opens with a Nigel McGuinness vignette where he sits down with English legend Johnny Saints across from a chessboard. And this felt like they brought Nick Mondo back to shoot some video. This looked so much better. I don't know who filmed this, but this looks so much better than the average AEW vignette. And they're sitting across this chessboard, and it's maybe a little generic. He's talking about, you got to go out there. Zack Sabre Jr. is a guy where you have to know the next move because he knows the next move. And I just thought this was beautiful and staged really nicely and sort of anti-pro wrestling in a way. Like, it didn't have a lot of pro wrestling energy to it. It had more just a little bit of drama and a really nice feel, and it added maybe some emotional gravitas and heaviness to the match, even going in. Of course, I didn't think Nigel was going to win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, but it really set the stage in a nice way. Then out comes Nigel to one of the worst Oasis songs, and he gets a huge reaction, as you'd expect. And then, I can't think! Out comes the IWGP and my Wrestler of the Year world champion, Zack Sabre Jr. I love this song. I love this entrance. Zack Sabre Jr. has scaled up his game in a lot of ways, but his ability to fill a space and feel more like a star is probably what's gone up the most. He doesn't have the highest ceiling for that. I don't think there are obviously guys who more naturally can fill that space, but Bryan Danielson was somebody who could levy that against, I think, sort of earlier in his career, obviously, but I really think Zack Sabre Jr. has done a lot to close that gap in a really, really good way. And then these two just go on to have, like, can I say a beautiful match? I like violence in my wrestling and hard hitting, but I also like believability and stories and emotion. I can kind of be bought in on any ways. I like thoughtless indie psychology sometimes. But this I thought was just elegant, and could you argue it was maybe a little? If somebody told me it's like I didn't really read it as competitive enough, I'd say, hey, fair enough, man. That's how it read to you. I could kind of see that actually, but for me, Zack Sabre Jr. trying to get an incredible match with Nigel McGuinness is like a story in pro wrestling that I like not within the kayfabe rules of AEW, but just within and the post-match really reinforces this, right? Zack Sabre Jr. wins, but he hits a handshake and then he hits a bow, and then he whispers something in his ear, which you have to think was something very, very kind. And man, I thought these two harnessed emotion in the match. The crowd acted like it was two legends that they cared a lot about, really engaging. And parts of it were Nigel just selling whatever Zack was doing in grappling, but sometimes that's just the way to go with somebody as knowledgeable as Zack Sabre Jr. Okay, grab my wrist and I'll ride. I know how to do that. And they're positioning this as two very technical guys positioning off the two most technical wrestlers. I don't really feel like that's Nigel's legacy. Nigel is a very technical wrestler, make no mistake, and he was the English techer on the scene in ROH, but he's also a blood and guts brawler in a way that Zack Sabre Jr. never was. And I just thought that being able to enter this technical world was actually maybe more of the interesting story to me, or at least how it played for me, was that he's able to do this, and he can't quite get better as Zack Sabre Jr., but this old dog has some fight in him, and then when they are blasting each other, they do the European uppercuts, and Nigel does get the better of that, and that was more my read on it. But however you want to take the match, I thought it was just very special and had a very singular energy. They delivered on IWGP title defense against two guys that are beloved in their area, which isn't easy, because you in some ways you're giving the fans no rooting interest in who's going to win, right? So you have to tread careful, but I thought they certainly did, and I just thought this was a really, really nice one to watch. But then they did piss me off because they played the epic version, the other Zack Sabre Jr. theme. I hate that other theme. I hate it. Give me I love the song. I don't want the other thing. Give me the song. Come on. Give me the song. Anyway, not the end of the world. Show opened. Forbidden Door 2025. I thought this was a great choice to open when I saw it play out. It was out first, Killswitch, and Kip Sabian. Okay. Kip Sabian getting some reactions in his hometown. I think it's easy to cheer for the human interest, right? Where it's like, I'm glad this guy gets this moment in England. That's cool. But my eye is really on Luchasaurus Killswitch, who I think is likely going to be more of a focus going forward than Kip Sabian, safe to say. This is our first look at him in a long while, so I was really tuned into him. But then, out they come. Ed Copeland first. On this day, England loves singing, man. Holy, these guys like to sing. And they're all in. Everybody loves singing the Ed Copeland song but me. And this crowd is no different. They are extremely hot to see Cope. This is great to see. This is where you can use them, right? Like, he's not my wrestler, but to open a show, does the big entrance, everybody's up. Okay, all right, I get it. But they're getting separate entrances. It's not Edge and Christian. It's Cope. And now the word asshole goes on the Tron. And then dun, 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 dun. I love that theme. England, why didn't you sing that one? Sure, you actually got some ability. If Christians would have stopped and they would have gone, whoa, 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 I would have been, okay, England, I'll stop making fun of you. But now I can't, unfortunately. But this, he's my asshole. Edge and Christian, they operate as a team, but one is a heel and one is a face. This is way more interesting to me. This is way more interesting than a straightforward, here they are, something evocative of the old song. They're hitting the poses. They're hitting all the old moves. They hit one of the old moves, and people really came up for it. They don't hug at the end. They handshake. They're going to drip it out. And I have to say, I just think that's great. I've criticized a lot of Cope on this channel. I thought the Christian patriarchy stuff was way too stretched out, but I think I remain one of the bigger peeps on the face of planet Earth. But man, this was just very nicely executed. On the other side of the coin, hard to really get a read. I thought like Kip Sabian did a lot of selling for them, which that's the job. He made Cope look like a superhero. He did 3 monster sells just halfway across the ring. Truly incredible. Well, maybe not. Maybe incredible's a stretch, but understanding the assignment to a very, very high degree, not looking over there to get his shine in front of England, like going out there to collapse and go flying halfway across the ring. And that's a way of earning respect too. So shout out to Kip Sabian there. Killswitch, it really feels to me like he's just covering for the Nick Wayne injury right now. And I honestly think that might be for the best. I don't think now would be the best time for Christian to have to come face to face with Nick Wayne in a tag match, because I think you have to pay that off if they see each other. And right now it is him and Cope staunchly on the tag team. So I actually think this maybe worked out okay. Him and Luchasaurus still have some heat from that, and so you can lean on it in that way. So I thought this was very well executed. Everybody did their job. The double impaler I actually thought looked really good. They did a blind tag 2-count spot where Christian didn't see the tag from Kip Sabian. Really nice. Cope did the super dangerous spear through the ropes, the old Big E spear. I like that move. But it's enough. They get back in ring and they do pin Kip Sabian. And commentary's putting over that Kip and Killswitch, they're on different pages. They're not getting along. And Killswitch is out there in his babyface mask and the green gear. I really think he's going to be a good guy sooner rather than later. Maybe that's optimism for Jack Perry returning as a babyface with him? Maybe. We'll see. Christian offers the handshake. Cope accepts. Cope goes for the hug. Christian doesn't accept. We'll see where that goes. That hug in Toronto is going to feel good, folks? On top of that, I did think that angle of them both resting in the rings, that was a really nice thought out stuff. So most I've liked of anything probably, I think this is probably my favorite Ed match in AEW. Well, when he landed on the spike bat, or when he threw Mox on the spike bat, I should say. I liked that match. But again, mostly because Mox took an insane bump. But so I thought this was good. Good use of everybody. Killswitch gets a huge kick out in the match too, so they're trying to keep him alive to some degree. Very much looking forward to see where all this goes. Versus FTR in Toronto without titles? Who could have known? Was that it? Is that the whole show? Goddamn, it was. Golly. We got through it, team. I think I'm going to put my score to a 4.75. I like a lot of the early stuff, but a lot of stuff that I just don't think is good enough for pay-per-view on this one and showcases a bit of a lack of attention. It's not the end of the world. I love AEW. Can't wait for Dynamite and the follow to the show on Wednesday. Cannot wait to be in the house for All Out Toronto. Again, if you're going to be in Toronto, head to WrestlingBrain.net. We're going to be doing a preview show. We're going to be playing live They Said What, other games. It's going to be a very fun time. Go to WrestlingBrain.net and join us at Wrestling Brain Live. You can be there. Everybody who's ever been to one, they say, that was the best day of my life. It could be yours. Are you looking to have the best day of your life? That's the promise. That's how good it'll be. Literally the best day of your life. That's the promise. We'll set the stage correctly. Okay, what else this week on the channel? Tomorrow, an abridged version of Meltdown. We're short Bobby 2 beers tomorrow, but Slack and I are going to put on an all-hitter, no-quitter condensed card. The world title's on the line. The tag titles are on the line in a triple threat. Is that right? Or no, the world title's on the line in a triple threat. And then it's a tag titles. Okay, sorry, I'm in Forbidden Door mode. I don't know why I'm trying to pitch tomorrow's Meltdown. You know what? Why don't you join the Discord at patreon.com/J0SHC and you can see what the WPCW layout is tomorrow. I'll post some of it in there. Then Wednesday, we're back with the AEW dudes. But in between that, Tuesday morning, maybe late Monday, hire Brian on the podcast feed. I'll get Brian's thoughts on Forbidden Door as well as a bevy of other topics. I have a feeling we're going to go long. There's lots to talk about since we last got together, Murder and I. We're recording that tomorrow, so I don't know if we'll have it out tomorrow night or Tuesday morning. But Brian and I, so Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday content on the channel. And I think there's a chance that we may do a Ring of Honor review show on Friday. Chad, I'll just ask you here. Let's hang out for a little bit. Are you going to watch Ring of Honor on Friday? Because I normally catch those pay-per-views not live, but I want to see this one. Love and energy.
Wrestling Brain, all the weekend. 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 Wrestling Brain, all the weekend.